Hello everyone, my name is Nathan Bennett. I am a freelance writer and editor based in Romania. This is another one of my China videos, and I'm going to talk today about some things that I think after having worked in Chinese media for 2 years. Stay to the end to find out what I think is kind of the major shortcoming in Chinese media as I see it. Before I dig in, I'd like to say that I'm not going to take this opportunity to just say bad things about China. For one thing, for the things that there are to criticize, and there are some pretty substantial things, somebody else with better sources, better information, better analysis is already covering those things. So I'm not going to go there. I may reference some of those things, like Xinjiang or Tiananmen Square. There are things to talk about that we have on our radar. I'm not going to talk about that because I don't have a whole lot new to say. Also, it's just too easy to bash China. It's too easy, okay, it's too easy to get clicks, too easy to get likes, just bashing China. I want to actually contribute something real. So, here we go. For Chinese media, I don't think propaganda is entirely the right word. Yes, you see the propagation of the Chinese point of view, the point of view of the Communist Party of China, the analysis delivered by the Communist Party of China. The spin, the angle that I would take it from is marketing. Propaganda these days just seems to be, it just says lies. Well, marketing says things that are true, but you know that there's a purpose other than just telling you what's going on in marketing. So that's how I understand it. The colleagues that I worked with, and I say this from having traveled in China with some of them, from having received correction from some of them, I would call them journalistic professionals. For one thing, not every story that must be told about China is something you could get arrested for. There are plenty of straightforward things that need nuanced professional coverage, and they were doing those things. The media I worked for was, yes, it was state-owned media. Most of them were party members. But I think by any objective standards, you could call them journalistic professionals. There's one section that we had in our publication that they'd invite foreigners to write. I saw this in China, saw that in China, experienced this, experienced that. In getting the guidelines for what kinds of stories to invite, they taught me how to shape a story angle, to look for the real human element in something. Like look for the stuff that you don't have to only have a pulse and be in China for 6 months to see. The trains are so amazing, the subway is so modern, everything is so, convenient. Yeah, I mean, in the cities, yeah. You know, a foreign exchange student just a few months in China can see that. We need more stories than that. And I traveled in China, I think 4 times at least, with some of my colleagues, and I saw them conduct interviews, and I proofread the stories at least twice, once in black and white and then again in color before finalizing the printing. They know how to write a good story. They know how to draw out the human details, and they know how to construct a story. They know what they're doing. Sometimes they would even correct my grammar and be right. Like these are not just hacks sitting at a desk writing whatever comes to them. As a matter of fact, during one meeting, I mean, the big boss, you know, as this was explained to me through translation, told us, yeah, okay, go out. Don't just sit at your desk. Like, go out, get the human stories, go get that kind of stuff. Yeah, they're working on it. So here we go. You know, on the one hand, telling the stories that there are to tell about China, who is supposed to do it other than China? Are they supposed to wait for paternalistic mentoring from the Oriental Studies Department, from this or that prestigious Western university, to give them some coverage of legitimacy? Are they supposed to wait for CNN or the BBC to set up in China and tell the stories that they find? It's like, no, China needs to be able to tell its own stories. Okay, but then, on the other hand, okay, here we go. How many times have I said, here we go? Okay. Political control by the Communist Party of China severely limits what can be discussed. All the stories of hundreds of millions of people being lifted out of poverty due to economic development, the preservation of Chinese tradition, bringing Chinese traditional culture into the modern era. These are all true stories. Yes, they are true. But here's the main thing that I see as a deficiency in Chinese media is that it's not very interesting. This is what you've been waiting to hear, that I don't think it's very interesting. So if you wanted to make Chinese media really, really interesting to foreign audiences, tell me the whole story, the good and the bad. So tell me what happened at Tiananmen Square. Tell me what has happened since then, the lessons that have been taken since then to make sure that kind of thing doesn't happen again. Don't make me go to foreign analysts for it. What is happening in Xinjiang? Don't just show me that 30 diplomats went there and saw presentations. Talk about failures, talk about challenges, struggles. Let me hear from people who didn't like it. Maybe I am very, very understating something. But just like looking from the side of it's not very interesting, that's, it's like what foreigners want to hear is, we tried this, it didn't work. We tried this, catastrophic consequences. But we're still in the game and we are doing our damnedest to keep pushing on. That's a good story. I saw a lot of stories about Chinese wisdom, Chinese experience that can be shared with the world. I saw that. That's not necessarily very interesting. What is the Chinese experience? What is it? China has that to tell. China has all that information, but if I don't see it, then I have to look for it from sympathetic foreign analysts. So, there we go. That's been this video. Thanks for coming along. Like, subscribe, share, eat Chinese food, drink hot water. See you in the next video.